So, chat, we had a BNR announcement if you didn't know. All right. And it was a lot less than I thought they would do. I thought every format was getting it. And unfortunately, that is not the case. All right. So, y'all ready? Because I'm ready. And I hate these formats, by the way. All right. As of today, announcement of today, Meat Hook Massacre is banned in Standard. I don't really care about Standard. It's all about if you saw any of the Standard challenges or any of the tourneys in the last week, it's mostly all black X or black red or it's basically black decks with splashes. Mono black, Esper, Jund, you name it, it's there. All the black cards are just so good. And I honestly don't even think that this does anything because all the black cards are so good. They could have picked anything. They could have picked, they picked Meat Hook, but they could have done Shieldred. They could have done, they could have done anything. But Meat Hook was kind of the easiest, and we'll go over what their thought process, because I didn't read that. I just saw this. So you're going to see my first reaction of what their rationale is. All right, and you Modern players out there, as you can see, Modern is the next. They did not ban anything from Pioneer or Explorer. And I think that's probably correct. Because a lot of people were saying that it should have been at minimum Nykthos and Fable. And at first I was like, well, I'm thinking Nykthos is gone, but there's really nothing else that could see a ban, right? Because the issue is if you ban, and this is just for the sake of argument, if everyone is saying, or the majority of the players who play it say Nykthos and Fable or whatever from the red-black deck should go, well, not only are you allowing the aggro decks to come to have some play because Rakdos is a little bit worse, but now that Nykthos is banned, that makes Mono Green worse, and now Greasefang is a deck, right? So I think what Wizards is saying is that, well, and I don't know if Pioneer is in this discussion or not, because like I said, I've only seen what cards are banned. I did not see any of their actual reasoning discussions on the bottom, so we're going to go through that. But I'm actually okay with them not banning anything, because it's better just to let the format ride, as opposed to saying, well, if you take Nykthos out, then red-black is by far the best deck in the format, not even close, right? And the only reason Mono Green is a deck is because Rakdos midrange basically beats all the bad matchups that Mono Green has. So, all right. Meat Hook Massacre is banned. I don't care about Standard. I don't think this does anything, but we'll go over what their discussion is. That's right.
A prophet leads potential devotees to our sanctuary.
Traxian with the raid, party of 5, incoming. Noobs, how are you doing? We're going over the BNR announcement right now, and then we'll go over, and then we're going to play some Historic. How y'all doing? Appreciate the raid. Invading the church. Ugh. So, Modern. 80 card decks are banned. Yorion is gone. At this point, listen, they just need to get rid of companions, okay? All of them. Giganta, Obosh, and any other ones that are seeing play, and anything not Standard, get rid of them. Historic, you should just take out the companion mechanic. Yeah, it doesn't matter. All of them, all right? Because eventually you're going to have, not only Yorion is gone, but now you're going to have, what's next? Giganta, Obosh. They don't really see much play, but that's not the point, right? But 80 card decks are gone. A lot of people are saying that I don't play Modern, so I don't really care. They're saying that this doesn't do it. This is not good enough. They need to do something else. But Like, you're not playing Money Pile anymore, at least 80 cards. Now you got to play 60 cards because you're not playing. You can't even play Yorion in your deck. It's not like this is banned from Companion. It's just now you have to actually do it, the entire time, right? So I don't really care. This is better than nothing, I guess. But rip, F's in the chat for all those that bought Splinter Twin. I said it on Twitter. All right, man. Appreciate it. Thanks for the raid. And yeah, F's in the chat for Splitter Twin for those who bought it, because I said it on Twitter that they were not unbanning that card, but whatever. All right, standard. As is often the case, standard card pool. I've not read any of this, so this is going to be me thinks Trex forgot to hit raid proper. I don't know what that means. Let's go on Black Main Lion. As often, so this is my initial reaction. This is I haven't read these yet. As is often the case, the standard card pool rotation with the release of Dominaria United caused quite a shakeup, with cards from the new set finding their places into decks. Many of last year's cards shifting context within a new metagame. As the format has settled into place, the color black has proven powerful and prolific and makes up the foundation of many of the top decks. In fact, all of them. Despite that commonly shared color, we're seeing good diversity among competitive decks and strategies, and player engagement with the format has been healthy. Has it, though? Every deck is literally running black, and if they're not running black, they're running red for Fable. Does that mean format is healthy? I don't know. But to me, that doesn't seem like that means that it's healthy. The last standard challenge, literally the top 8 was every deck had black in it. So, to provide a small push against the color black's play rate among competitive decks, we're choosing to ban one black card. We've discussed several different options, as no single black card stood out as a major power outlier played by all decks containing black. Really? Ultimately, we decided that banning Meathook Massacre was the best choice, as it's one of the most powerful black cards in the format, especially powerful against specific archetypes relying on small creatures, and has its time to shine in standard for over a year. This right here, this last bit of words, and has had its time to shine in standard for over a year. You know what that means, chat? This means, why did we not do rotations twice a year, as opposed to once every 2 years or whatever the fuck? Why are we not considering rotation faster? If this is the logic here. Also, if you're considering that Meathook is one of the best choices because it's one of the most powerful black cards in the format, you literally could have taken anything. You could have taken Shieldred, you could have taken you could have taken anything. And if your logic is that, then why the hell are we not rotating twice a year, or more than once every 2 years, or whatever the hell, once a year or whatnot? I know they were never banning Shieldred, but the point being is, you put a creature that's a 4/5 for 4, and the only way to kill it is with 2 colors, black and white. What are we doing here? Red has to spend 9 spells to kill it, and it's come on, man. The majority of the colors that have a 1-for-1 hits it is white and black, and that's basically it. Green, you have to have huge creatures with their fight spells. Blue, you just bounce it and look like an idiot. And I guess you could take it, but does it? I thought that card rotated. Maybe I'm wrong. I thought it was 3 for 4 instead of 3 for 5. Maybe I'm wrong. With Brothers War on the horizon, we anticipate the new cards entering the format provide tools for other decks and color combinations. In the meantime, we expect We expect this little shakeup will help Standard enjoyable trend towards an even healthier spot going forward as the card pool expands. You know what else is crazy? There's an MIQ like next weekend. The format doesn't rotate, or the format doesn't take effect until Thursday. So people literally have 1.5 days to find what deck they're going to play. Because all those decks that were playing Meat Hook Massacre now basically have to decide, are they going to still play black or are they going to play something else for the MIQ that's happening on Friday or Saturday. F's in the chat for them. I thought they weren't going to ban anything for Standard because Brothers War legitimately is going to be released on November 9th. So like in 30 days. I figured they would just let Brothers War ride on for like 30 to 45 days at the release and then do something about it. But hey, whatever. I'm not going to play Standard anyways because November 18th? Okay. Either way, 30 days, 40 days, whatever. But yeah. I mean, whatever. I was tired of this card anyway. So. Alright. What do you think, chat? Good ban? I think it's fine. I think it's fine. Could be worse, right? Alright, Modern. Modern has been in a healthy place since the last ban and restricted update, with good diversity among archetypes, even the most popular competitive decks occupying a relatively small slice of the metagame, about 5 or 6% of each on Magic Online. However, as tabletop Modern play continues to rebound since the height of the pandemic, we've decided to enact a change that we've been considering for some time, and that's banning Yorion. Yorion most commonly appears as a companion in Money Pile, which showed a strong win rate, and according to our matchup data, are likely to continue to rise in popularity. In addition to game balance concerns with the deck, we're also factoring in the physical dexterity requirements of playing with a large deck for tabletop. Oh my god, are you serious? Okay. We're wary of the metagame reaching a point where players are playing the deck because of its perceived strength and win rate despite not enjoying how cumbersome it can be to operate. Fucking yawn. Like, what? Hold on. So, physical dexterity requirements of playing a large deck for tabletop. What about fetch lands then? Are we just gonna ignore that? Like, now I understand that playing an 80 card deck with, you know, I don't, how do you, like, I understand if you're playing an 80 card deck with, you know, double sleeves because you're playing with like all fucking foils. But come on, man. Are you serious? If that was your concern, why did you even make the fucking card? Come on. This is... Alright. This doesn't mean that I'm pissed off about it because they've done this before with like Sensei's Divining Top and like, you know, a bunch of other stuff. But if you're going to tell me that Yorion makes a physical dexterity requirement and you could always call a judge, if you're telling me that this causes a time constraint and a terrible play pattern, then you're trying to reduce shuffling. So what the hell are we doing with fetches and all that other stuff that causes you to shuffle every 5 seconds? Like, yeah, better ban Commander. Let's go on, Stormbreath. While these physical dexterity issues exist to a lesser degree in other formats like Pioneer, notice they didn't say Commander. Modern specifically entails more shuffling and other physical card manipulation because of the deep card pool of card selection spells, fetch lands, and so on. Cards encouraging large decks like Battle of the Wits have existed in the past, but usually on the fringes of competitive play rather than one of the strongest decks. Better ban that too. Finally, we've also heard from many players that the repeated triggers caused by Yorion and many other cards surrounding it can lead to repetitive gameplay patterns and long games with lots of downtime between the other players' actions. What? All right. It's important that the net player experience playing with the top decks is a fun one, and while we're okay with such decks existing, it can make the format less enjoyable when these patterns are associated with one of the strongest decks over a long period of time. Therefore, to make Modern as fun and accessible as possible for all types of players, Yorion is banned in Modern. Get the Hold on. All right. So, repetitive gameplay patterns and long games with lots of downtime between the other player's actions. What does fetch lands do? Like, repetitive gameplay, that's literally what Modern Horizons 1 and 2 was all about. I don't understand why they're going on this, on this logic, because repeatable gameplay or repetitive gameplay patterns has been the legit modern Magic since Eldraine. Like, that's literally what fire design is. So if you're saying that repetitive gameplay patterns is not good, or it's not good for one of the strongest decks, then you're literally doing this on purpose. Especially with Modern Horizons 2. I know that Yorion's not Modern Horizons 2, but the whole deck is. And then just to kick you right in the nutsack, they're like, Modern, therefore to make Modern fun and accessible. Yeah, accessible with $1,500 decks and, $300 play sets of Ragavan. As if you didn't do that on purpose. Like, come on now. Matter of fact, let's look. Tabletop, Murktide, $1,200. Hammer Time, $1,000. Creativity, $1,200. Omnath, $1,900. Burn, the cheapest deck out there, $500. Crashing Footfalls, $1,400. Rakdos, $1,250. Amulet, $1,000. Living End, $1,000. Yawgmoth, $950. Grinding Station, $1,300. Like, accessible my ass. Like, is Meathook all over Standard? I don't know. I don't play Standard enough to know. All right, Chad, here we go. Pioneer, you ready? Overall, Pioneer looks to be in a good place as we head into the regional championship qualifier season throughout November and December. We're seeing a wide variety of strategies employed by the most popular decks. The most popular played deck on Magic Online is Rakdos Midrange, with about a 13% metagame share. None of the top 20 decks, none of the top 20 most played decks have a non-mirror match win rate of more than 53%. In general, we've heard a lot of positivity from players about the state of the format. We'll continue to keep an eye on the health of the format, especially as it undergoes more competitive pressure with the RCQs. As things stand, we don't anticipate any changes before or during that season. So if they're going to do anything with Pioneer, it's going to be after the year. I want to check something real fast, because I'm pretty sure that Rakdos Midrange has a way more. Yeah, I don't know where they're getting their 13% from, because this says 22. I really hate when, like, I really do not like when Wizards does this, where they're like, oh, includes paper. That's fair. That's fair. But that's just it, though. All right. So to give you, so chat's saying that this is just strictly MTGO, right? So check this out, right? The last BNR announcement, when I can't remember if it was a legacy ban or a pauper ban or whatever, but Standard had a blurb like this, like in Pioneer, and they explain like players have been showing concern, but here's where I don't like when Wizards does this. So what they did was, this was when Standard was two of the challenges during the weekend and a couple of super queues, or like there were like at least 3 to 4 Standard tournaments, and 2 of them were challenges won by Jabberwocky, or Jabberwocky took first and second in the same one, or in 2 different challenges on the same weekend. And then there were a bunch of players that played against Hinata like the entire tournament. Like that was like the mirror match every time. And like the top 32 decks, out of like 32 of them, like 17 were Hinata decks, or like the majority of the format was just Hinata decks. And the blurb that they had in that BNR announcement was, well, on the Arena Mythic ladder, it shows that Standard is in a very healthy place. And it's just like, do you not check MTGO stats? I really can't stand when Wizards only cherry picks fucking stats, where they're like, well, according to here, it's fair, or it's open, but if you look over here, it isn't. And it's like, you gotta take all the stats, man. You can't just go in Standard, oh, the Mythic ladder is, it's open. We see Grixis, we see this, and they name drop decks, and we're just like, show us the fucking data. And they refuse to do so. And it's like, don't tell me numbers, because you don't have anything backing this up. There's no, cliff notes. There's no citation, nothing. And it's like, well, I guess you're, whatever. I'm not saying that I don't believe this. It's just, Rakdos seems to me more played than any other deck in the format. And it's not close. Like, because if you're not taking paper into account, you should take in everything. Not just, oh, well, MTGO says, because Standard, they do the same shit. Like, well, Mythic Ladder says this, and it's like, are you paying attention to MTGO? Why are you paying attention to MTGO for only Pioneer and Modern, but not for Standard? When we know for a fact that the grinders play on MTGO more than fucking on Arena. So, like, what are we doing here? I don't care about Legacy. I don't care about Vintage. So that's basically it. I didn't expect anything from Pioneer. At most, I said probably Nykthos was probably gonna get the X, but I was like, but after thinking about it, I was like, probably nothing, because there's nothing in Pioneer that really warrants a ban. Nykthos is probably the only card that I can see that deserves to go, but it's kind of like, well, if you get rid of Mono Green, or Nykthos specifically, then Rakdos already has a stranglehold on the format for the aggro decks. So, and there's only 2 cards in Rakdos that deserve to be banned. Close to. That's Thoughtseize and Fable. I chose Thoughtseize because that also hits Greasefang. The mere existence of Greasefang is like, I don't know. I can't imagine that card's going to last, or Perihelion, one or the other. Not saying, because Abzan Greasefang is better than most people think it is. It's like this far from being tier 1, like this far, if not already. In fact, this past weekend, it won a Pioneer challenge. So it's not like the deck is bad. So, but that's the BNR announcement. Overall, I don't care about Standard, but this is a start, I guess. And if anybody's willing to get into or modern, now you don't have to spend as much money, I guess. So MTGO effective date is today. Tabletop effective today. Arena, you won't see the change until Thursday. So, all right. For those YouTubers, like, comment, subscribe. I should probably say that in the beginning. That's how to support the channels. But also Twitch on the socials below. And we'll see you in the next one. Laters.